as you know, we're having a little treat. This is for you. This isn't for YouTube. This is for you to be able to take back. You look at. You be able to see whether you think you come across the way you really come across, not the way you think you might come across. But Jack Welch said in a slide yesterday, I believe it was, you know, reality is what it is. It's not what you hope it to be or what it used to be. And some of you will be surprised. Not probably all of you will be surprised how you come across on film. But they'll be with us for the next couple days in graduation. But we left off the slide before, clarify your vision, but one of the things that I started to do, was going to do, is normally, and I got ahead of myself in the slides, so that's why I'm not doing it now. I was going to change clothes, and I used to come in, as I was telling Keziah, walking over here, in Raising Capital Seminar, I used to, at lunchtime, I'd come in after lunch, and I'd just be wearing a pair of flowery bikini underwear with nothing else. And I'd come into these rooms, 300-400 people, they just paid me $1,000 a head, and I'd say, you know, I'm not too modest, in case you hadn't gathered already, I'd say, what if I came into the meetings dressed like this? And or if I went to make a financial presentation dressed like this, what would you think? And some of the women said some kind of vulgar things, contrary to what you might think. But the guys would say, you know, I think you're fucking nuts. I think you're crazy. Now, these are guys sitting in the audience with purple hair and earrings, some of them. Okay? And so, and always they would say, yeah, but Richard Branson wears jogging suits. And Steve Jobs wears a black t-shirt and black jeans. Or invariably, everybody say the same thing. We'd have 3 or 4. And normally those were the poorest dressed people in the audience. Never did a guy dressed in a Brooks Brothers looking suit, looking like a Mormon Bible salesman like Christopher, say that. It was always the guys trying to justify why they had long hair down to here or looked like a bum. Okay. Well, perception is reality. So I told you about, I used to be considered a super Latino. Remember? Well, I have a suit, a full body suit, like this. And if I came in to give a seminar dressed in my Superman uniform, as opposed to the way I dress now, and if I had that Superman uniform on YouTube, I mean, although they think slightly different than if I just came in wearing a pair of bikini brief underwear, as I used to, it's the same reality. You want the best impression, not the worst impression, because you only have one time to make a first impression. And just as I was very happy to hear see Mark cut his hair, although I hear you've been on him for a long time to cut his hair, and because his partner had long down to here.
Ridiculous, just
long,
a girl.
Yeah, looked like a girl. We want you to look that you're making them feel comfortable.
It was always it was like a recommence, like they'd see him and then it was just like, who's this kid? And then, you know, he'd have to, after he started talking, people were like, oh, okay, he knows what he's doing, but it's just first impressions are that important.
Correct, and first impressions are important. And and I remember back in the late 80s and early 90s, they started doing dress down on Fridays, which casual clothes on Fridays and all this stuff. And Wall Street firms started doing the same, and you could wear khakis and blue shirts, etc. But there's a lot of that is gone now. But now they wear suits without a tie. You wear a shirt without a tie, and you know, not similar to your look. But I still maintain the same look. Brian Rose just contacted me, and I'm having dinner with him. I guess a week, but it's coming Sunday. And I have a few meetings now with some big movie production companies, I guess you call them, about the reality show. So it appears, you never know, it appears that we're marching forward. But it's interesting because, you know, my staff is here Scottish. Are we all Scottish, except for me, Sally and myself? We're all Scottish up here, right?
Yes.
Okay. And, but when you follow up down south, as they call it here, and you call them in England, oh, thanks for responding so quickly. The same stuff that I told you about, that, you know, well, when do you think we're going to respond? You know, and of course the English think the Scottish are asleep up here. They think that, and of course the Scots think the English are asleep. So it's interesting. The vote for independence is in what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, Megan?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and they've just sent out the ballots. And the people that are for independence are, as far as I can tell, are mostly young. And the people that are against independence are mostly old. And I personally hope that independence doesn't happen. Selfishly, who up here, you know, in my comfort zone. Now, if I was 25 years younger, I'd say, what the fuck, that sounds great. You know, I'll be at a new country, just born. No. 70, my next birthday, I think Scotland's just fine the way it is. And the castle's been here for 500 years plus. We don't need any new revelations. But when we're talking about vision now, clarify your vision. The vision I had, we're going to talk about dreams and goals. I saw this castle, not this castle. I actually saw the castle more like, and we're going to see the slide, that Walt Disney saw when he patterned it after Disneyland after it, which is, I think is a castle in Austria or someplace. And when I saw it, I could close my eyes and I could see the tennis courts, plural. I could see nannies, governesses for my kids. I thought we were going to have a moat. I could see us on an island. We are on an island, but not the kind of island I mean, I really could see what I wanted as clear as we see the leaves on that tree outside. And the clearer your visions, the quicker they'll happen, to self-realization, etc. We've talked about how Andrew Carnegie, 100 years ago plus, believed in affirmations, self-realization, etc. And it works. It absolutely works. Now, any questions about lunchtime, or at lunchtime, anything we covered? Now, the extra videographer, the professional videographer, I should say, it's not for YouTube, it's for you. Use, as they say up here. We're going to give you a copy of it, if you want a copy of it. Not, maybe some of you won't want to see what you look like, but we're going to give you a copy of it because we want you to see directly how you sound, what you look like, how you come across. Because your perception of yourself, Alexander, is different than that film's going to say. And, oh Holy One, the perception of you is going to be different. Your perception of you is going to be different. And now you speak, you're a lawyer. You know, you're a mouthpiece, as they say in America. They call lawyers your mouthpieces. They call you're a mouthpiece. You're a solicitor. You represent people. People's financial lives or whatever on your tongue, so to speak, right?
That's right.
Poor bastards. Help us. Allah, help us. So you'll come across in a different way. Pablo's going to come across in a different way. Now, of the speakers we've had so far, and after we get done with YouTube, we're going to have another role play. But Hosea and Simon were pretty smooth. Not bad. You ask good questions. You're in the business, though. So it's kind of a trick buck. You're in the business. But he's done it a lot, so that's why I put you opposing each other. Okay? But not everybody will be that smooth. Not everybody will be that smooth. And so the filming isn't to embarrass anybody. The filming is a learning experience. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. But a lot of things I haven't thought before. But I guess if I did this another 300 years, if I did the Castle Seminar another 300 years, I'd come up with some other stuff. I actually, wouldn't have mind putting on the Superman outfit because I like the way I look in tights. But that's a whole other story. But I like the way I look in tights. But I really used to like the way I used to wear it when I used to wear those little briefs. Because I look more like him then, in those days. The young guy, the Thor from the Vikings. We will not critique the film, but when you get the film and we send it to you in a DVD, I want you to look at it. And part of your first weekly report is how and what am I going to change about the perception that I give across on a film. Some of you might think that you shouldn't change anything. I'm here to tell you that there's nobody in this room that's that good a speaker that won't change something. Because that's how the financial institutions, that's how the Dream Team members are going to look at you when you're trying to sell your passion. That's what they're going to see. Some of you are going to say, holy shit. No way, Jose. But that's what they're going to see. So the better you get at that, and I told you before, tape yourself when you talk, film yourself. So this is going to be the first film. So you're going to be able to use this film as a comparison as the weeks go by. Now, it's not a fair statement to say that it's a good method of measuring the Skype and the Zoom calls we have, because I like to see body language. I like to see your arms and not just your head like this. But I mean, the head's better than nothing, so you can see the facial expressions. Does anybody have a problem with that? I don't really give a shit if you have a problem with it. I'm being polite for you two.
Which part?
That we're going to film you, not show it to anybody but yourselves. Okay. Now, where's my? There it is. Somehow, 30 years ago, I knew that telecommunication and healthcare were the places to be for the future. Telecommunication, meaning the internet. When Rick Scott, God love him, the current governor of Florida, asked me, Dan, I want to make money like you, what can I do? And I said, number one, you got to stop being my lawyer. And number two, you got to go out on your own. He's the bald-headed guy with the red tie in the picture. Current governor of the state of California. Well, what can I do? And I said, where should I go? What should I do? And I said, well, healthcare, telecommunications. People want to live longer, and telecommunications, stroke internet, is going to be the future. And if anything about Star Trek is true, they're going to need to communicate. He picked healthcare, and 7 years later, he had the largest healthcare company in the world, 340 or 360,000 employees, and he started it with his life savings of $150,000. Doesn't sound that hard, does it? It is. But he saw the vision. He saw, just like we're talking about what you want to build with Mark. He saw. So we've done this before. When Klaus Kleinfeld came to me as a middle manager in the late 90s, I want to be, on the executive board at Siemens, or words to that effect. And I said, well, okay, what about CEO of Siemens, etc. 7 years later, he was CEO of the 20th largest company in the world. When Mikey the Pizza Boy came to me with dough under his fingernails from slinging pizzas, I want to be the first Albanian Steven Spielberg. I looked at the kid. You fucking, are you fucking me, or what is this? Steve, and he says, no, I want to make motion pictures, Mr. Peña. I want to get Academy Awards. He says, the only famous person from Albania today is Mother Teresa. And I said, well, you're for never going to be a Mother Teresa. And so, okay, and November last year, not his first, but he had a debut in New York City grand debut of a big motion picture that he made from scratch. He kind of did like Sylvester Stallone. He produced it. Actually, I was one of the executive producers. He produced it, he directed it, he did all those things himself. So, but all these three people that I just mentioned saw it clearly. The vision they had. Okay, I don't know why exactly I thought healthcare and telecommunication. I can't tell you that now, but I did say it 30 years ago. And today, two of the hottest industries around are healthcare, because people like myself want to stay younger. Not stay younger, we want to stay alive. Forget younger. And the baby boomers, my age, are willing to pay a lot of money to stay alive. I didn't know I was going to get into fitness like I am, taking 160 to 180 pills a day. I didn't know that I didn't know those things. Although I was physically fit, I used to run, etc. a lot. I ran in 50-mile Boston Marathon, 50-mile marathons, 100-mile marathons. I did all that, but I also drank like a fish. The only thing I didn't do was smoke. But telecommunications is obviously, several of you are in the internet business. But all these businesses that these guys are in, they saw it clearly. They had a vision. They had a vision. Some of you, your visions aren't so clear. Most of you here want to be wealthy. Or more money, forget wealth. Have more money, a lot more money. Some of you are willing to accept a little notoriety. Some of you don't want any notoriety. You want to be under the radar. Normally that means you don't want to pay taxes. Just a guess. Simon.
I pay all taxes legally required of me.
Legally required, okay. On declared income. On declared income, not undeclared income.
It's not good on YouTube.
Okay. Okay. So the point is, they had a vision. They had a vision. People ask me, how come these guys are smiling? Look at the pictures. For the most part, except for Heiko the Foss, the Bavarian brute, they're all smiling. Because they're all fucking rich. It's a lot easier to smile when you're rich. And if you have a girlfriend like Mikey the Pizza Boy has up here. So, we want you to make sure, and we'll talk about goals later this afternoon, after role playing, that it becomes second nature to you to visualize what you want. And when we talk about affirmations later today, etc., it's extremely important. That's all we're going to cover today for YouTubers. Thank you very much.